I was given to understand that I should be giving some kind of a motivational talk, but I think I can see a lot of youngsters around and I should be getting the motivation from you, because when we say whole day we spend among a lot of inadequacies and insufficiencies. So it is when we see young people full of that hope and promise for the future. So we gain some inspiration from you. So the motivation will work in the reverse flow. But still, what I understood of today's event is a get-together of the prestigious alumni of this institution. And I can see some distinguished people on stage and off stage who are holding a rose each. It's nice to see everybody carrying a rose. So, it's a women's gathering, and maybe something Madam Srivastava was telling me something on the bureaucratic service or how I came into the IS or something. But I think that is an old story. It's totally past. And with so many, people giving yarn on how you get into the IS and off it and all, I think that's not touched upon. But then maybe something on what is the need for women in service, not necessarily in the bureaucracy, but in any kind of public service. Rather, I would say, what is the need to feminize or womanize the public services? What is the need to inject more of feminine values into our system? Now, for long, we have been living in this mainstream discourse, in fact, for centuries, where woman is considered one of the vulnerabilities. The gender is one of the many different vulnerabilities that you deal with. Others, of course, being caste and religion and sexuality and so many others. So gender is one of the factors which make you deviant or the other. So in this case, the mainstream is of course very rational, logical, macho, masculine. And by definition, the female is considered generally to be a little hyper-emotional, judgmental, little argumentative, illogical at times, and fairer but weak. So that is the important part. But then we have also been seeing how over decades women have been moving into different frontiers. They have been edging into some kind of bulldozing into all those territories which were once considered kind of lost, maybe that it's not fit or secure for a woman to be. Now, literally if I say, they have conquered the mountains, space and the deep sea. Because we have people flying aeroplanes, women, we have them in the defense services, they have gone up into space, there are very famous women in hardcore science and astronomy. We have girls driving auto rickshaws as bus conductors, driving trucks, you name it. Even the IIT, I think, would be a frontier, because as Director Sir was saying, we still have a long way to go in terms of the proportion of women who are in IIT, maybe in the faculty. So these frontiers are constantly expanding, and I wouldn't say it was because they had an urge to prove that they are equal with men. No, most of it was out of sheer economic necessity, and some of it out of a great spirit to prove themselves. Now the point is, often I feel women's discourse gets distorted because of that, a constant urge to prove oneself as same as men. That is what feminism did for many centuries, trying to show how woman is same as man in appearance, in your behavior, in your dress. But that is horrifying actually, to think that woman is same as man. We are not. That difference, whatever difference is there, which is complementary, it is enabling and it's creative. And that difference has to be maintained, it has to be celebrated, and the whole point of being a woman is that you're not a man. And one should not be also. But then being different doesn't mean inferior. So we are different but equal. And the point is to maintain and to celebrate, like I say, to celebrate the difference, but yet be equal and complementary. Now, even if we go by the stereotypes which I said earlier about being a little emotional, sensitive, not too logical, going more by the heart than by the mind, and all those things, even there, if you just examine a couple of qualities that are there in women at large, then we can see what is the need for those qualities in our world around us. First of all, first thing I would say, all that we pay money in business schools to learn about multitasking, versatility, very disciplined and optimal use of resources and fact. All of these things I think the world learned from women only. Now, how to make people of different character, totally opposite traits, with different goals, live together under the same roof, how to keep them together as part of the same institution, work towards one goal, but yet create a conducive environment in which each person can live up to his or her potential. That is what we call HR management. So that is something which I think most of us carry intrinsically. Again, resource management would mean material resource also, like how to make the most of every penny. Nobody has to teach a lady, especially a homemaker, she knows that. Again, time, how to post or how to bring the maximum out of every minute, because there is no time to loaf. I should, Professor Mana shouldn't take it otherwise. I'm referring to my part of the world. So we have a lot of big officers, who work, who do their work, but then they work and then they have their chai, samosas and pan, and then they, have their gupshup sessions, and then, of course, they're very busy all 24 hours, most of the time on phone. We don't have that kind of time because there is another role to play, that of a caregiver and keeping your family, nurturing your family. So we punch in what all we can. If we work 4 hours, but we make sure that the 4 hours deliver a punch. So that kind of time management, disciplined use of time is also there. So these are things that you pay money and learn in, so-called business schools, and which is inherent. Again, secondly, now these days knowledge, I think, is not difficult to come by. Information is there to be had everywhere. Anyone who has an Android phone is a gyani. And all our youngsters with, all these Google boys and girls, I think there's hardly anything one can teach them. But all the knowledge in the world cannot touch the life of a single person if you don't have the ability to feel. So where we fall short normally is knowledge combined with sensitivity. Only that can transform anything. And I think whether you are a scientist or whether you are a bureaucrat, the ultimate aim is to make a change around you. And I don't even mean the macrocosm for the whole world. The world runs on very solid principles, and most of us have cracked those principles. What I'm talking about is that one person who is standing before you, a needy person, whether you are able to feel it, we call it empathy, that ability to actually put yourself in his or her shoes and to feel what he or she is going through. When you feel that kind of sensitivity, empathy when you have, then all your knowledge, all your ability has some meaning. You're able to translate your ability and whatever you have learned into some change, however small, in the life of one person. And one person is as important as all people. Like John F. Kennedy said, the rights of every man are diminished when the rights of one man are threatened. So the point is, when you keep alive the rights of one person, you're keeping alive the rights of every person. So what I'm trying to say is that kind of sensitivity, that kind of feeling, again I feel it is somewhere, there in women folk, by and large. Third, as caregivers, nurturing. Nurture is a very important quality in today's world. You must be saying, there's so much of factions, different ideologies going at, each other's throat. So you have two people, they can't see eye to eye. Two departments, they can't work together. The same organization, two different sections, they can't, work together for any one thing as a team. So there, sociology tells us that women traditionally, whether in the First Nations communities, all our old societies, even in the animal kingdom, the female sex have always been survivors. Why have they been survivors? Because their survival is crucial to the survival of the group at large. So they have always tried to keep things together. So we have a world where things are falling apart. In fact, you look at anything, anywhere. So women, that ability of nurture as a caregiver has the ability to keep together. And I firmly believe it. I won't up whatever small experience I have in service, in public service. I've seen how, because women are able to sacrifice short-term goals for long-term gain. So they think in larger interest, because they're used to thinking in the family scape. I think that could be the reason, because they are often thinking in the sense of a family rather than of the individual. And so when that translates into an official setup, you are thinking more in terms of the organization or the institution rather than just for yourself. So that makes a difference. And again, one more roughshod or what. And I think seriously that a woman has as much right to be corrupt or make money as any man. So we are not going to put a woman on any, we have had enough of that, a woman is like nature. And then like you conquer nature, like you throw garbage on her, like you ravage and ravish nature, so is woman. So these associations don't mean anything. But definitely I would say that woman comes with a certain kind of moral courage. What would moral courage mean? What I said just now, the ability to choose, to make a choice for the greater public good. Whenever a situation presents itself, she would, I think, make a choice. Inherently, the choice which comes to her is not one of short-term materialistic gain, but one for the final good, the greater good, and the common public good. So that is what I would call moral courage. And that is something, again, which we lack in society, and we need more of that in our decision-making process, whether it is bureaucracy, or whether it is politics, or any media, or anything. We need more of moral courage in our decision-making process. Now, as to what now, if I were to say what I have learned after coming, I've spent around 11 years or so in service, what I have learned. First, I have learned, like I said, that every person matters. That every single person who stands before you, if you can make a change in that life of that person, then all the big things that we all the big things that we talk of, how to change the world, how to change society, how to change Kanpur, nothing is possible unless you have the ability to feel for that every single person before you. Like Swami Vivekananda said, be the change. So again, that has become a cliche. The idea is that anything that you want to see in society, any change that you want to see in society, it has to start with yourself. Any revolution that you want to bring about, you have to be the start of the revolution. And the only kind of leadership which works in the world today is leading by example. Nothing else works. Nobody wants to listen to speeches, nobody wants to read essays on integrity, hard work, honesty, nothing. If you are what you preach, then few people will follow you, they will listen to you, they will respect your words. That's what I have learned from my service. So whatever social revolution we need to bring about in Kanpur, it has to start from all of us, from me and from you too. Second thing I've learned is not to compromise with myself. Because like I said, if we claim to be different but equal or even superior, then your outcome should also be different but better. You cannot afford to compromise. It is, there is really no reservation in people's expectations from you or even from your expectations from yourself. People don't have any less expectations of a collective. In fact, they have more, if you ask them. So there is no women's reservation in that sense. They expect more from you, and therefore you have to expect more from yourselves. There is a lot of demand on time, energy, ability, everything. And that one saddening factor that you see in services, many times, women colleagues, they come early, they come late to office, sometimes they leave early. Now, why does it happen? It happens because they have a family to care for. And for women with children, that is equal or maybe a bigger priority than their service, and it should be too. But then society never looks at it with that kind of respect that she is, managing so many things at once. There is always a very lenient, condescending, patronizing attitude. कि महिला हो तो ऐसे ही होगा. Late आएंगे, जल्दी जाएंगे, बस अपना formality के लिए that kind of. So that condescension, that patronage is something that is to go. And that can go only when all of us, of course, families are there, but we also, those of us who can, should put in our best. So that our output, if anything, if not, it should be superior, at least equal. And if I talk of the service, I have a lot of things to say. It's just that I'm racing against time. That's why I would have loved to spend some more time here. But if you look at the work environment, like in our place, so many times you go for a meeting, there is no washroom for women. Simple thing, but really important. We talk of equality, but when it comes to the brass tacks, there are no crashes in any government office. A DM is okay because we have an establishment to take care of our needs. But then every woman, every babu in my office, every good female clerk in my office doesn't have that kind of institution. But there are no crashes in any government office. There are no washrooms. There are no entertainment areas. No places where they can sit while we talk of equality, we still have a long way to go in feminizing our work environments, in gender sensitizing the environments where we work in. Forget about public places. We are not even discussing, bus stations or, whatever. So more women in service is also required to make the service and our environment more women-friendly and to sensitize it to the issues of gender. So I have nothing more to say, and like I said, it's a pleasure being with all of you. We get to learn from you all, and I'm sure that the district will benefit from your knowledge. Some of you, I'm sure, will be from Kanpur, though your alumni, some must have come from outside. And I will just finish with that one favorite sentence of mine from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The first sentence in the preamble, which says that to recognize the inherent dignity and the equal and inalienable rights of every member of the human family, we should underline that every member of the human family, male, female, everyone, is the foundation of justice, peace, and freedom in this world. So whatever we are doing, you, all of us put together, our aim is to make our society a fairer, a more just, and a more peaceful place to